Okay, so chapter 9, and this is 9-1 and 9-2 together. Um, is about correlation between two variables. If you've ever taken Algebra 1 or any of the algebra courses, you did study correlation in that course. I know for some of you it might have been a long time since you had Algebra 1, but just if you have, if what I talk about right here does not address any holes that you have in your understanding, please let me know and I can send you to some videos maybe um, on algebra concepts that will help you with this. But typically, one of the first things that you're going to have to do is be able to look at a scatter plot. And that's what these four things are right here. These are scatter plots. They've taken some data points and they come in an ordered pair. Where the first value being a number that's graphed along the x-axis, and the second value being what's graphed on the vertical or the y-axis. So they plotted some data points right here, and then they looked at the trend of each one of the data points. How did they line up? Um, and that relationship that they have is called the correlation. So you notice in this picture right here, as we plotted, as we go out along the x-axis, so as the x values got bigger, the y values got smaller because these are big y values up here. Um, these are small y values, so it counts like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're in what we call quadrant 1, where all of the values are positive. It doesn't matter, you could be in any quadrant, but um, the way these arrange, this is saying that as the x values increase, the y values got smaller. So that would be what we call a negative correlation. This one is a what we consider a positive correlation, and the reason it's positive because as one value increases, so does the other value. So as x increases, y increases. So this point out here would be a big x value and a bigger y and a big y value. These points down here are small x values with small y values. So this has a positive correlation. This kind of scattered all around, no correlation at all. And this one has a relationship. You see, it looks, oh, it's making an arch. Yeah, so it has a correlation, but it's not linear. And we're only concerned with linear correlations. So positive, negative, and no correlation at all. Or maybe it has a correlation, but it's not linear. Then we're going to talk about, you'll need to talk about how uh, strong it is. Um, like, for example, this right here, how those all lined up in a perfect line. You could draw a line and it would pass through every one of those points. That's a perfect correlation. Okay. A perfect. This one right here is a perfect positive. And the reason it's positive is because it's going as x increases, y also increases. This one right here is nonlinear. It has a correlation. It's again in the shape of a U, but that's not a line. So this one would be nonlinear correlation. This one right here is a negative correlation. And what you are supposed to picture is a line, what we call a line of best fit. Okay, a line of best fit that goes through the middle of these. That's exactly what we're going to be doing in later on in this section is drawing a line. Now, it's obvious that we cannot draw one line that will pass through every one of those points. So we've got some scattering. So this one's what I would be considered a strong correlation. It's not perfect, but you could have a correlation where they're even a bit more scattered than that. the dots are really kind of scattered. Those don't look very much like dots. But that one would be still considered a negative correlation, and it would be considered a weak because they're really spread out away from. So if you imagine the line that goes through the middle of them, see like this one right here, imagine that line passes through every single one of those points. So that's why it's perfect. This line right here did not pass through every single one of the points. It passed through some of them, and you had some points above the line and some points below the line, but none of the points seemed to be really, really far away from the line. Okay. This one over here would also be a negative correlation, but if you drew the line right down the middle of these, you would see that um, the points that are not on the lines tend to be a little bit farther away than these points. So the farther away they are, the weaker the correlation is. Okay, so that's the vocabulary right there. This one right here, there's no correlation because they're just all scattered. The next thing you're gonna have, I may stop this because I want you to. I'm going to go to StatCrunch next. I'm going to show you how to do this on StatCrunch, or I'm going to show you how to do it on the calculator. We'll not be able to do what we're doing on this exercise by hand. Okay, you'll have to use either StatCrunch or the calculator.